and welcome to Flourish and Flow. I'm your host, Amy Rohrer, yoga teacher and owner of the Yoga Hut in Tillsonburg, here to help you connect and integrate the dots to true wellness on your healthy living journey. If my own wellness journey has taught me anything, is that there is no one-sized, linear, fits-all approach to flourishing. We really all have our own unique path. We're here today at Bree's Fresh Market in Ostrander. They are one of our show sponsors, so a big thank you to Bree and Kyle for welcoming us here to film our show, and a thank you to our additional show sponsors, Laura from Escape Salon and Spa in Tillsonburg, and Jen from Hometown Style located in Ingersoll. We're joined today by mental health advocate and social service worker student at Durham College, Karin Thoms, a PeerWorks certified peer support worker, that's a mouthful, and dedicated volunteer with the Pregnancy and Infant Loss Network. Karin provides compassionate support to individuals navigating perinatal challenges, ensuring that no one faces these experiences alone, and is also currently offering one-to-one and group therapy at Perinatal Wellbeing Ontario. So welcome to the show, Karin.
Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, really glad to have you here today. And today's interview topic is the importance and benefits of support groups, which by definition is a group of people with common experiences and concerns who provide emotional and moral support for one another. And this is something that has been very impactful and meaningful to you on your own postpartum journey. If you could tell us a little bit more about what led you to become certified as a peer support worker, because it was really your own experience that kind of led you to then take that step.
Yeah, so I have two kids and I experienced postpartum depression and anxiety following the birth of both my kids, and also having had experienced a loss in between my two children, that led me to have some prenatal anxiety when I was pregnant with my youngest. So it was actually after the birth of my second that my counselor recommended a peer support group that was run by McMaster University, a study being done there, which is a peer support-led support group for parents experiencing postpartum depression and anxiety. So it was there that it was about a group of 8 of us moms that were able to support each other, validate how we were feeling, the challenges that we were experiencing, and just really helping guide each other, support each other through those experiences. And then we even continued our relationship on as our babies got older into toddlers, and we had a WhatsApp group and just continued supporting each other through the challenges even once the support group was finished. So that was my experience with support groups, and how it benefited me tremendously during those challenging times. And I ended up leaving a long-term career in human resources and decided to change paths completely and become a certified peer support worker. So and kind of pay it forward and support others that were currently experiencing what I had gone through.
Amazing. We can't always see the dots connecting, but I love what you've done with your challenging experience and getting to now give back to those who are in a similar situation. And we actually met through the Womb Woodstock, so that's a place that we were both working. You were actually leading groups there, and that's when I kind of learned that you were certified. I didn't even know you could become certified to kind of lead support groups. And now tell me a little bit about what you're doing now, because you're in school, but you're also doing a placement
through the school.
Yeah, so talk about that.
Yeah, so I'm in school for a social service worker, with my goal being to provide therapeutic and counseling support to the perinatal community once I'm done. So my placement is at Perinatal Wellbeing Ontario, which is a virtual support for anyone in the perinatal period, which is trying to conceive or experiencing fertility issues up to 24 months postpartum. So that whole period through pregnancy and postpartum, we provide supports for. So my role is to provide one-to-one therapy for individuals in the perinatal period. And then we're also working on, in the new year, providing group support for parents that are plus 1 year postpartum. So in that stage that can get forgotten about. So when the babies are turning into toddlers, and then you're reflecting on the time maybe that you feel that you've lost in that first year postpartum. So there's a lot of grief that can happen there. So that's the plan in the new year, to provide a group to support individuals that are past that 1 year mark.
For those who are maybe soon to be parents or new parents, new moms, if they're looking for support, how, I think that it's called Perinatal Wellbeing Ontario. That's a great resource, but also your resource. Like, how can people connect and learn more about some of these services? So
what we always say is, if you're experiencing challenges that maybe you weren't expecting or that are really difficult, is just to talk to somebody. That's the first step, whether it's a friend, your partner, a neighbor, your doctor, midwife, someone, a therapist, someone, to let them know that you're having these feelings and thoughts that aren't sitting right. That's always the first step. And then Perinatal Wellbeing Ontario is a great resource to reach out to. It's www.perinatalwellbeing.ca. Okay, and also what is your, I know on social media you share resources if people want to connect or ask you a question, if you want to share that. On Instagram, I am Karin, so at Karin.mentalhealthadvocate. Okay. And in your schooling journey now, getting to work with clients, what do you love most about the work you're doing now? It's wonderful to connect with other parents and to help validate what they're going through, because there's so much that is kept quiet. People feel that they can't share what they're experiencing for fear of stigma, or just being labeled as a bad parent. So what I really want people to know is that there is support out there, and it is normal to have it be difficult and have it be challenging and have feelings that you weren't expecting. So it is an honor to hear, have people tell me what they're going through and experiencing, and I've just loved connecting and providing resources to people that can use them. Yeah, I love that. I mean, I can so relate to that, of just how challenging motherhood was, and then finding support. I went to groups at the womb, and now getting to work there is like, it's just such a full circle. Yeah. You know, and I find, and I'm sure you can attest to this if you want to share, but like, I find I'm still getting so much back, but by just the conversations that happen with other moms. I definitely find that peer support is mutually beneficial, not only for the peer, but the peer supporter, to have, again, I always use the word validate, but to have your experience validated again and again, to say that was normal, it is okay, that it wasn't perfect. And one piece of advice for soon-to-be parents or new parents? I always say, if you're experiencing thoughts, feelings that aren't normal to you or just aren't sitting right, to talk to somebody. Again, I've said it already, but to talk to somebody, anybody that you feel safe confiding in. I like that. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much, Karin. We will be back with you later in this interview, so stay tuned. We'll be back after this short break.
The following program was provided by a valued member of our local community. Rogers TV is proud to support local producers and share local voices, ideas, and opinions. For more information, please visit our website. This program is brought to you by Rogers Xfinity, connecting you to more of what you love. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
This is a brain in urgent need of mental health care. But because 3 out of every 4 Indigenous people experience racism in healthcare, she may not get the help she needs. Become an ally. Rise above racism in healthcare.
I'm going to do 2.
For you?
One for you,
Yeah,
one for me.
Absolutely. Go down.
How much dipping?
Go right in.
Oh my God.
Welcome back to Flourish and Flow. Another amazing support group we are featuring on this episode is Dads of Oxford with co-founders Chad G. and Jeremy Ward, a supportive community where fathers come together to share experiences, seek advice, and celebrate. Chad became a father in 2022 and started the group, and Jeremy became a twin dad shortly after in 2023 and was the first one to join the group. A friendship was born, and also you are now both co-leading this group of dads in Oxford County. So really excited to have you here. I think it's so good to talk to dads, and like you guys need the support too, right? So I love that you started this group. Starting with you, Chad, tell me a little bit about your journey into fatherhood, seeing this need for dads, and kind of starting the group from there. Tell me about what led to that.
So our son was born in November of 2022, and leading up to that, I was very nervous of, am I going to be a good father? Is he going to need more support than I can provide? Or how do I make more money? You know, just the constant stress of being, you know, the leader of the family.
Yeah.
So it led to me going to find support in Woodstock, especially after my son was born. I was feeling very depressed, down, because, you know, men do experience postpartum as well, and I was definitely one of them. So I was trying to get the support. Looking at Woodstock, there's nothing. There's one place that was offering it, just didn't really fit what I wanted. So I started kind of Dads of Oxford because something had to be done. There's nothing in Oxford County. So I decided, let's start the group and get the support we need. And it just kind of led to it. And I honestly assumed it was going to be, you know, within 24 hours, I would have maybe 5 people join, and like we'll start very small and slowly grow. And within 24 hours, we were up to like 60 people.
Amazing.
So I was like, hey, this is really needed. And it just,
it was an affirmation of like there's other guys out there feeling the same way. And so Jeremy, you were the first one to join the Facebook group, I believe.
That's right.
Yeah, so obviously you were feeling the same. Tell me about your journey.
That's right. So as you mentioned, I had my twins in February of 2023, and leading up to when my twins were born, I was also kind of looking for support as well. Just, you know, how can I be more prepared leading up to my twins being born? And I was searching for Facebook groups and whatnot, and I had found some, but nothing was local. And when Chad had actually created the group and made a post on Facebook in regards to the new local dads group, I hopped all over it. I joined it, and I just so happened to be the first one to join. And Chad messaged me, and we just kind of connected from there. And here we are. We've just grown the group to where it is today, and just mainly focused on, you know, being supportive for other dads. We also have a Facebook chat group, so if anybody's looking for, you know, late night advice or anything like that, they can always feel free to reach out. So it's been great.
I love that you guys weren't friends, and then through this you became friends, because parenthood is such a life-changing journey. I feel like my husband would say that, like, no one can prepare you for some of those challenges that you're going to face. So I love that you've formed a friendship, and now you're getting to provide support to other dads. So what do the meetups look like? How often do they happen? What's your favorite one? If you want to share, like, how it's been going and what that looks like for people who want to join.
All right. So like with Dads of Oxford, we offer 2-3 events a month. We have one that's pretty monthly, which is at the Womb in Woodstock. It's more of a drop-in, so there's no fee or anything. just come in, you bring your kid, kids can play, and we just kind of leave it as an open table to people to talk about their issues and such. And at first we didn't really have a lot of people. And then like the next one happened, and I think we were like all crammed into the little room. There was like 16 or whatever of us with all their kids.
Yeah.
It was a little hectic, but it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And every time we do it, it's nice because we have like a few that return, and then we have more new faces.
Right.
So
the word keeps spreading.
We're getting more and more people. So yeah, that's one of our events, and yeah, you can.
And we also try and plan something outside of having the kids with us. So what we do is we do what's called a sip night. So we'll choose a local brewery or local restaurant and host an event where we just have the dads come together. Obviously, no kids. We just have a drink, appetizers, and we just kind of all, again, we leave it as an open table. It's a little bit of a different environment. So we just, again, dad's looking for advice. Dad's looking for tips, tricks. Hey, I'm experiencing this with my little one. Is it normal? Are you guys experiencing the same? So just having that different environment helps as well.
Yes, absolutely. Before we go to break, I want to ask both of you a piece of advice. If there's a soon-to-be dad or new dad, looking back on your journey, what would you have wanted to hear before it started? Whoever wants to answer first.
Find support.
Yeah.
It's tough, especially for dads. Find the support, reach out to a friend, a group, and always remember it gets easier. It really does. It gets easier.
Yeah, my support would always be, find new friends, because from what I've experienced, a lot of my older friends that don't have kids, it's the first one to have a kid in my friend group, they've all disappeared. They were there at the very beginning, met the baby, and then that was kind of it. Kind of lost touch. So find the friends, get support, just be more open to knowing like your existing friends leaving is normal, and just
find new ones.
Find new ones that fit in too. I totally agree. Like my husband and I now, we have some new friends with kids who are the same age, and like the conversations and what I always leave being like, we're not the only ones. Like you also get to see the kids interact, and like we all need that, right? We need that validation of and understanding of people who are in that same chapter as you.
That's right.
How can people get in touch if they want to join the group or check out the events? Where would you send them?
You can find us on Dads of Oxford. So at Dads of Oxford on Instagram.
Yeah.
Or Dads of Oxford on Facebook, and then we have Dads of Oxford County, which is our private group for dads to join. But there's all there.
All right, check them out, dads. Stay tuned. We will be back with Chad and Jeremy and Karin after this short break.
It still doesn't register right in my head. I mean, the largest industrial investment in Canadian history is happening right here in St. Thomas, Ontario.
It's closing time, and you stayed out longer than you planned. So now you can't drive, and the buses have stopped running. You could always call your girlfriend. Or maybe your roommate? What about your best friend? You could just dial 1-888-TAXI-GUY or use the Taxi Guy app. The call and the app are free, and they both connect you to a local cab company to bring you home safely. Visit ArriveAlive.org to find out more. Arrive Alive, drive sober.
This is an incredibly challenging time, and with the finances being stretched so thinly for folks, the holidays become so much more problematic. And not just for the extras and the gifts, but although there are opportunities in here for that as well, but also really for the necessities. food, shelter, warmth, all of those pieces.
Welcome back to Flourish and Flow. I'm your host, Amy Rohrer. We are chatting about the importance of support groups and some amazing support groups in our local Oxford County area. So we've got Karin back as well, and then we're joined by Chad and Jeremy of Dads of Oxford. For parents out there, I thought we could kind of reflect on our parenting journeys. So if you want to share the greatest joy and biggest challenge of being a mom or a dad so far, and we've all got kids at different ages, so it'll be interesting to kind of hear what comes up. Does anyone want to give it a go?
I'll take the first shot at it, I guess.
Yeah.
So, like, I have a son who's he'll be 2 next month. Greatest joy is him learning things. So, like, he's now scraping his plate after every meal and, running up, giving us a hug. So every little new step that he learns, it's bittersweet because he's like, oh, you don't need me anymore. But it's also amazing watching him grow and see who he's going to become eventually.
Yep.
And just seeing all of that, but
become his own little person.
Yes. But one of the bigger struggles, like I would have to say, is just dealing with the toddler tantrums and emotions that come with it.
Yeah.
He did start showing those a little bit earlier. But just, it's kind of taking that step back, letting the other parent step in is kind of our coping mechanism with it. Just kind of, my wife or I, anytime, just put your hand on the shoulder of the other person, and it's okay, they step back, it's the other person's turn, because they kind of sense that
the other one needs a break.
Yeah.
I love that. We have a code word. So.
Yeah. That's a good idea.
Yeah. All right, what about you,
with
Jeremy?
Myself, I would probably have to say, Chad kind of took my idea, so I'll go with a different one, since I have the twins. What's the big joy for us is when they've just recently started playing together. They were very, very independent through the first year and a bit. They'll be 2 in February, and every day they're starting to play with each other more and more, include each other more and more. My daughter is now trying to help out as much as she can, so during diaper change she's trying to help us with diaper change with our son, and just those different things that they pick up and learn as we go. It feels rewarding. You're doing something right.
Yeah.
The biggest challenge I would have to say is when the kids get sick. My wife and I experienced 7 years of infertility, and it was quite a journey for us. So I would say the toughest part is when the kids get sick. You kind of get all these negative thoughts just because of the trauma and different things that have happened in the past. Your mind goes elsewhere, and it's really hard to stay on track.
Yeah, so true. Especially those first,
That's right.
all the first kinds of sickness.
Sicknesses,
right. First fever and the first, Yeah, thank you for sharing. What about you, Karin?
Yeah, it's stemming from the challenge of first illnesses and illnesses in general. I think the biggest challenge for me was losing a sense of feeling like I had any control over any situation, really. As a parent, you just kind of have to let go of that feeling like you have control. And another challenge for me was after I had my first child, that kind of loss of identity of who I was post-baby, so and then learning what my new identity was as a mom. So, but as joy is basically all the other things. Watching them learn, watching them grow, they make me laugh every single day. So, just really outside of the challenges, everything else is a true joy.
Yeah, thank you all for sharing. I think it's really important to talk about the challenges too, because like we see on social media a lot of the joys and they're amazing, but there's also the challenges, and we need both. That's life, right? There's going to be the ups and downs.
Two sides to reality, right?
Yeah. But again, kind of going back to our conversation, Karin, of like just removing that stigma and like really talking more openly about some of those challenges. Hopefully there's some people who will take something away from what you all shared, or even just saying like, oh, I'm not the only one going through that specific challenge. So the show is called Flourish and Flow, you know, kind of finding our own unique path to flourishing and our own flow in life. Why don't we make it more specific to family? Like, what does a flourishing family mean to you? What does that look like? How do you know when your family is flourishing? Or what does that look like?
I can start this time. For me, a flourishing family is kind of everybody's well-being is balanced. So it's not just looking out for the kids and making sure the kids have everything they need. Of course, that's important, but also making sure the parents are checking everything off their wellness list. So taking care of themselves, getting adequate sleep, the self-care for themselves as well as their child. So that overall being for everybody.
Nice. Jeremy?
I'm not sure how I'm supposed to take it any better than that, but yeah, just everybody, good health, and it really changes once you have a family, what really matters in life and what doesn't. Mm-hmm. And it really is all the small things that truly matter. And I just see it as, you know, fun family, making memories and good health.
Love it. And what about you, Chad?
How do I fill those? I would say to have a flourishing family, it's just one, being together, being supportive of each other, and just being open all the time. Like, if you have a question, you can ask. We're not gonna get in trouble, and just being open with everyone and being like true to yourself. And then, as again, like Karin said, just making sure you both take the time, or everyone takes the time to have their time with themselves or out with friends or whatever. Finding that time.
Filling your own cups,
yes,
too.
Filling your own cup, which does take time after having a baby, but it is possible.
Yes. Well, thank you all so much for sharing your journeys and also what you are doing in the community. I love that these supports and groups are available, and I'm really glad that we got to talk about that today, because I think no matter what your challenge is, finding that group that might be unique to you. I know I've found a support group for something in my life, and I left feeling so validated from those unique conversations. So hopefully this gets the ball rolling as far as what people can seek out that they might need. So again, we've got Dads of Oxford and Chad and Jeremy and Karin, and you are working with Perinatal
Wellbeing Ontario. Yep.
Perinatal Wellbeing Ontario. May you continue to flourish and find your flow. A big thank you to our show sponsors, Bree and Kyle from Breeze Fresh Market, Laura from Escape Salon and Spa, and Jen from Hometown Styles. We'll see you next time.